Hello, and welcome to the Visibility Corner with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley. I am so excited today because every time I have a guest, especially when it's a queen, because I call the lady queens, I look at women as royalty, and I always want to remind them that they have their crown. And sometimes we need to make sure it's straightened because they are royalty. So I have a wonderful guest that's coming on today. Before I introduce her, because I got to do royalty right, I just want to welcome you into the Visibility Corner, where what I like to do is maximize your reach and impact with experts, visibility strategies, and get to understand the beacon light in the world. People that are beacon lights. I always say the lighthouse, they're the lighthouse to your soul. Because when you think about it, when you have anybody that can pour in you, anybody that can take what their gifts is, what their special gift they have in you, and then they take that, they put it into either a business or their entrepreneur. And on top of that, they want to help others move forward in what they do. That's saving lives. That's truly saving lives. And people say, you go to that extent, bro? I say, yes, I do. Because when you think about it, if somebody's nurturing you and guiding you and helping you to get to where you want to go in your life, and if you miss out on that opportunity, that's missing out on something of your own purpose that you want to do. So that's why I always give so much gratitude for my guests that come on that are doing the work, that are out there helping others. And this particular queen is amazing, magnificent. I'm telling you. I met her through, yes, and I'm not going to say the word stalker because that sounds too negative. But I follow her because she doesn't even know. She's been my mentor just from watching what she does. And that tells you right there is people are really watching what you do in people's lives because you don't know who's helping that's helping. You don't know who's that's helping another person. So this particular lady, and I know you're like, would you tell her? Tell us. I know I'm keeping you in suspense. Mrs. Doctor, yes, Dr. Karen Hill Pruden. She is basically a superwoman. She's basically in the C-suite strategist who works with females, middle managers seeking senior leadership positions. And she really made it small, but this woman, she's a speaker, she's international, she's an author, she does summits for people, she helps other speakers get on stages. I mean, she is the one. And just to say she does that little part that I said, that's just small compared to the whole huge empire that she has. And we're going to talk. I know I want her to kind of talk a little bit about the other things she does, but I know she really wants to get into leveraging professional equal within the workplace. Now, that's the biggest thing that's going on right now. That's like the buzzword, DI, D&I, D&I. So I know she wants to touch a little bit on that, but I want you to make sure that I always say, get your notes together because you're going to learn a lot from this queen. But I just can't just bring her on. She's royalty. So after this one little clip, we will see Mrs. Dr. Karen. Doing that little dance for you, lady.
Hello.
Hello, royalty is in the house. Yes, it is. Well, first, before you even speak your wonderful wisdom of words, I want to thank you for taking the time out to come to the Visibility Corner.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm all about partnerships and collaborations. And so this is a partnership and this is a collaboration.
Yes. And I always tell people just don't collaborate for that time and be like, okay, we're done. No. There's a lot of work to do. And us coming together, we can create that and make it even more less work because we're coming together. So I'm glad that you said that, Queen. I'm glad you said that. So I kind of met you through Lawana Bradford because I know she interviewed you a few months ago. And then I seen a call out that you did for people that wants to be a part of a summit that you were doing. And I sat in that room and I was like, wow, this woman. I said, woo. And then I seen the summit when you did the summit with everybody included. And I still told myself, I said, okay, that's it. That's it. I need to watch this lady because I'm learning so much from you. So I want to thank you for that too. Just showing up for others and making sure that you are on your thing, because you want to make sure that other people are moving in their own lanes as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. It's always good to know that, your work is people think you have an impact and something to say, and they value what it is that you do in this space called life.
Yes, definitely. So now you're talking about impact. So I want to get to that. But before we get to the impact, all the impact you're doing, I always like to pull the curtain back a little bit and just see, okay, you've been in a magazine, speaker and all this, but before all of that, I know you just didn't like say, okay, this is what I want to do. There's something that happened. So can you just give us a little backstory?
Absolutely. So believe it or not, I was a housewife and a mother. I got married, graduated in June, got married in August. My first boyfriend, first love and everything asked me what I wanted for my birthday. My birthday happened to be in August. I graduated in June. He asked me what I wanted, and I said I wanted to get married because, where I come from, that's what you do. You get married so that you can do some other things, And so I ended up getting married right out of high school. And so I was a housewife. I actually didn't work. I was a wife, a mother, and I had my children back to back. And that marriage didn't last. It lasted for about 5 years. And so then I had to reinvent myself. And so what I did was I picked up those goals that I put aside for matrimony. I decided now it's time to matriculate. And so I put myself back in college because I was on a path to go back to college. I went all the way up to the terminal degree, from bachelor's to master's to doctorate. But back in the day, before I was a global speaker, before I was a 30-time author, before I was a conference founder, I was Karen, mother, wife, and all of that. And so you can make a pivot, if you so desire, if you're willing to do the work.
Wonderful. First of all, thanks for sharing that, because I always like to hear the stories, because I know I always see that either there's something that happened in a person's life that either something that, I hate to say, like the hurricanes, the floods of your life, something that changed you, or something that, you were kind of bored or whatever. You're like, I know I need to be doing something different than what I'm doing. Or somebody just gave you that, that push, and you're like, okay, maybe I should be doing this. So that everybody has their own stories. And I love yours because you went from a 5-year marriage and it didn't work out, like you said, but you didn't just sit there and say, oh, well, what was me? You see, I always tell people it's always that choice that you make. And you made a wonderful choice. You say, you know what? I'm going to reinvent myself now. Now, okay, that didn't work, but you know what? I need to pivot and do something different here so I can get to the point of doing my own purpose now. And that's what I love how you did that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love how you did it. So you talking about reinventing yourself. you put that like on steroids.
Well, and I tell people that I don't know if reinventing, I was on the path to go to college, which is why I got married right out of graduating from high school, because I didn't want to be separated from my first love. So that was supposed to be in my future. According to everybody in my family, that's where I was going, but I had other plans in my head. And so I kind of picked up, and so I said, I actually look at it as goals may be dormant, but not denied, and so although my goals were put aside for marriage, I had planned to later in life pick those goals back up. I just ended up picking those goals back up a much earlier because of the divorce. Because once you get divorced, then you have to figure out, well, okay, I'm no longer just wife and mother, but also now I need to provide for myself. I need another type of identity. And so I just picked up what my life was supposed to be before I got married. And
Mm,
I have a community for that. You have to have support in order to do that. And I had the support to do that. And so I was able to do that because you can't do that with my children were 3, 2, and 1 when I got divorced. You cannot do
mm,
that with 2 in diapers, all of them not even in kindergarten. You have to have the support of the community in order to pivot like that. And so I give my success is a community success because I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for the people who helped me out back in those days.
yes, I'm glad you said that, Queen, about having a community, having people that are there and supporting you every step of the way through the, rough times, through the good times, celebration times. You need individual people to be there. And I always tell people, because I'm just thinking, because I went through with my cancer journey like 13 years ago, be remission right now. And it was the opposite for me. I didn't really have anybody there for me, even my own husband, which right now we're going through a divorce. But at the time, nobody didn't really understand. It was like I had this virus that they didn't want to catch. It was called cancer. And they didn't know how to, they didn't know how to maneuver around me. So instead of trying to say, okay, I'm just here for you, they kind of did the denial thing and just kind of went away. So when I hear you and other people say, and really, say over and over again, you need that community when you're dealing with things in life. I always say yes, please, because it is a little rough when you don't have that support there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get by on your own, and that's what I had to do for a while, because I said, well, I'm not going to be sitting there like, well, it was me, because I'm not that type of person. So I said, I'm going to have to just push a little bit more. But you never know. Others, some people need that extra, and if the person's not there, you never know what's going to happen to them. So I'm glad that you enforce that when you're talking to, like, especially the sister leaders, as you do. Wonderful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Women, we are so multifaceted and we are responsible for making so many decisions in life. And some of our decisions, generally, our decisions usually impact not only ourselves, but others, family members, sometimes children, spouses, significant others. And so when we find ourselves at that fork in the road, it is comforting to know that if I make this decision, that I have someone that can assist me when I make this decision. It's still going to be work on your part, but just knowing that you have someone on your side that you could possibly even talk to verbally, emotional support is critical to you feeling like that you can continue that path towards success, whatever that is.
Yes, yes. I always tell people, even if you send me a little happy face, or just a little text saying, you know what, you got this. I
Yeah.
believe in you. I mean, that goes a long way. And I tell people that. People say, oh, I'm going to send a little text. I said, but you don't know. At that time, that person might have needed that, because they might be really dealing with something in their life. So yes, that's one thing I like to do. That's one thing I like to do, is just out of the blue. It's not nobody's birthday or anything like that. It's just a normal day. And I might say, hey, Dr. Karen, I just want to let you know you are the bomb. You the boss.
Awesome, awesome. So that's who Karen was before what how people know me today as the C-suite strategist and the founder of
Mhm.
Sister Leaders.
Yes. So now with that, I want to dive a little bit into that, because I know that there's two things, and we're talking about visibility too. So I like how you have created this for the ladies, and there was two things you wanted to kind of talk about, is leveraging professional equality, I think, within the workplace.
Leveraging professional equity within the
Equity,
workplace. Yep.
equity, yes.
So professional equity is very similar. If you know anything about equity, most people associate it with home ownership or property
Mhm.
ownership, where you invest in something and then over time you are able to possibly later tap into that value that has been built up in that. So,
Mhm.
professional equity is very similar to that. It is over
Mhm.
time. There's three legs of professional equity: is reputation, relationships, and expertise. And
Mhm.
as you cultivate those three elements of professional equity, you will be able to, when needed, tap into that to sustain yourself, sometimes doing reduction in force. Sometimes people will look out for you and create jobs for you because they know your area expertise. And so professional equity is reputation, relationships, and expertise. And I'll tell you a little bit about each one. So reputation, your reputation is not your title. It is the results that you generate in the marketplace. In other words, when you walk into a room, what do people think as soon as you walk into the room? For me, people think C-suite sister leaders, because most people know me all about leadership. I'm all about the women, sustainability and acquisition. So what is it that people think about when you walk into the room? Because that is your reputation. And a lot of times people don't ask the question, and you may think your reputation is one thing, but if you start polling the people and asking the people, they may tell you something different. And so make sure that that matches what you want it to be and what people say it is. What is your reputation? So that's one element of professional equity. And then relationships. Our success is built on relationships. And since I work with a lot of women who are entrepreneurs working within a business and corporate structure, our success is dependent upon our relationships that we build. And so the relationships we build with the people that we manage and lead, the relationships that we build with our peers, the relationships that we build with creditors, vendors, volunteers, stakeholders, board members, everything is about relationships. And so you need to know that you need to network up, down, and after 5. And a lot of people don't understand that. You need to network up and down the chain. So you need to network down the chain because your success is built on everything that the people up under you do. As a leader, you are in the most vulnerable position because you can't do all of those positions that you are responsible for. And so networking down the chain is getting to know people beyond that surface relationship. That's what I mean by networking. Networking up the chain is that they need to know what it is that you generate in terms of results. They need to be thinking about you in terms of the future. So they need to know what it is that you stand for and what your goals are. How many of you have ever heard about someone getting a position and you're like, how did she or he get that position? Well, they told somebody they wanted that position. And then you may wonder, why was I overlooked? Well, did you tell somebody you were interested in that position? And so, you have to have relationships with everyone, and you have to communicate what your future desires are, your goals are, so that people will know whether or not they can fit you in their vision as they are operating in this space. And then the third element of professional equity is expertise. I require all of my clients to have an area expertise. I say a generalist understands how everything works together, but a specialist says today. My specialties are analytics and technology. I can create a data point, a number, even when it does not exist. You need to be able to articulate your value at the table, and that is my specialty. And of course, technology goes without saying because we can do things faster. Our reach is longer. We can have a global reach with technology. And so what is your area expertise? And does the world, the community, your industry know what that is? And are you good at it? And so those are the 3 elements of professional equity: reputation, relationships, and expertise.
Woo, okay. That's it. I have to apologize, Queen, to you because I thought you were going to be talking in the D&I sector. No, that was not what it was. This was powerful. So I apologize for moving the wrong key here. But oh my God. I mean, if you take those 3, you are so right. Because when you were going down the reputation, the relation, and the expertise, and I was thinking to myself, this is something that everybody should have that written down somewhere and have like a statement for each one and make sure that you're always continuously looking at that because it's so important. And I love when you said about, some people are like, well, how did they get that job? You know how many times I have said that, Queen? Because I work in corporate during the day still. So I'm like doing the entrepreneurship and I'm working in corporate still. And I see that all the time. And the first thing I said is, really? I've been looking at the emails. But then when you said, well, you asked that question, did you position yourself?
Yeah.
to, if you were thinking about that position or any other one that might be leadership. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yep, yep, absolutely. You cannot be the world's best kept secret. Your goals and your vision for yourself and your career cannot be a secret. And it's not braggadocious or anything like that. It is, they don't know until you tell them. It's not bragging. It's just simply information passes from one entity to the next. If they don't know that about you because they've read it, heard it, or something, then how would they know? So they don't know how to fit you into their vision for business. This is whether you are an entrepreneur working for someone else or an entrepreneur. People need to know what your vision is and what your future goals are so that they can see if there's an opportunity for partnership and collaboration. And partnership and collaboration could be hiring you. Partnership and collaboration could be bringing you in to teach. Partnership and collaboration could be putting your name in a room of powerful people who can do something for you. And so it's not always bragging as sometimes our gender as women think it is. It is just transferring information so that people will have what it is they need to know when they're making various decisions in life.
Yes, definitely. And I always tell people communication is the key. So if you don't communicate, just like you said, Queen, how's people going to know? And how are you going to understand that person? So, closed mouth, my mother used to always say, closed mouth don't get you
Don't
fed.
get fed. Yep. Mm-hmm.
My mother used to always tell me that. She said, so if you're going to be doing this all the time, Barbara, then you're going to have some problems down the road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am a introvert who can turn on my extrovert when I need to. And so even for the introverts out there, I'm not saying you have to be the loudest voice in the room. But people still need to know what your intentions are for yourself, your business, or your career.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm in the same boat. I mean, some people be looking at me like, really, Barbara? But I said, yeah, I've been an introvert. I was shy. I wasn't talking. I wasn't on stage like I'm doing now. I was in the background. If you want me to do some background stuff and work hard on that, I can do that. But I didn't want to be, the front person or talking and stuff. That was what, 13, 14 years ago. Things changed because, like you said, closed mouth wasn't getting me anywhere. And I said, wait a minute. Like I always say, if you can't speak for yourself what you do, others will start speaking for you, and they're not going to say the right things because they don't know
Amen.
you.
Amen to that. Amen. I don't want, if others are speaking for me, I'm good. As long as I know what they're saying. But you are your chief marketing officer. You are your chief PR person. When it comes to your career or your business, it doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur or entrepreneur. You are your best ambassador when it is what it is that you're navigating in this space and what you have to offer this world.
Yes. And then that's why that gift in you needs to come out and you need to express that. So that's how important that is. And when I found that out, I said, okay, I need to open my mouth. I need to talk. I need to get in the room. I need to get mentoring for this. And that's another thing. And I know we talked a little bit about it on another show yesterday, is getting with people like you, Dr. Karen, and that has been doing this. And like you said, I'm going to the expertise now part that you said. Look for the people that specialize in certain things and get with that person if you don't understand yourself.
Yep.
A lot of times,
Absolutely.
Don't hold back because you're like, well, I don't want them to know, or I'm supposed to be knowing this, and now I got to go over here and talk to Dr. Karen. Yeah, you need to go over there and talk to Dr. Karen so you can get yourself out there and move forward in what you need to do.
Absolutely. And confidentiality. I can't speak for anybody else, but I have confidential relationships. So I work with people who the world probably wouldn't even think has a coach, because they think they have it all together. But we all need someone to help navigate and walk with us to the next level, so get someone that you can trust, that you can build relationship with, who can speak to you openly and honestly, who have the knowledge and the expertise to be able to speak to what it is that you have as a vision for yourself, and partner with them so that you can cultivate and bring out the best in you.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that too, Dr. Karen, because I always tell people, even, the names that we know, Oprah, Tyler Perry, all of them, they have coaches. They don't sit there out and announce it like you said, but they got more than one, more than two. Yep. So in every different area of their life. So now these are giants that we look at in our industries, why do you think you wouldn't need somebody to help you along the way? And be open to that. That's why I always tell people, always be open to learning. When you shut the door on learning, you're making yourself, to me, smaller, and you're putting yourself in that box where you need to get out that box. So definitely, definitely. Now, I know with time, I want to ask you, Queen, real quick, because there's another point that if you can just speak on identifying your unique value in the workplace. So can you touch a little bit on that?
Yes, absolutely. So within the workplace, we're known as entrepreneurs because we work for someone else. We're not following our own vision. That is where the word entrepreneurship comes from. Entrepreneur, you're simply working for someone else. A lot of entrepreneurs start out being entrepreneurs, then they go off on their own. And so we need to all know whatever our lane of brilliance is. And you need to be able to identify it and cultivate it and then translate it into either career success or if you're going to move into entrepreneurship. So you need to know what type of leader or employee you are. What is your thing? What are you good at? And so there are three main types that I talk about. It's more than three when it comes to entrepreneurship, but you have, are you the person who puts the vision on the table? Are you the person who, like, if you work for Home Depot, you're following Lowe's? So you follow your competitors. You know what your competitors are doing, brick and mortar as well as online. So are you that person? Because then you're that visionary who puts the next step for the organization on the table. You're the person who say, this is what we need to do. This is who we need to pay attention to. So you're a visionary. That skill set as a visionary is very critical because we all need to know where we're going, and so when you are identifying the skills within the workplace, are you a visionary? Then are you the creator? The creator is the details person, the person, if you've heard me say this before, people really don't like the creator. You know why? Because the creator asking a whole bunch of questions that you don't have answers to at that time, because the idea just came up. They're asking questions about money, budgeting. They're asking questions about talent. Do we have people who can do this? They're asking about systems and processes. Do we have the program, or do we need to upgrade? They're asking all of these questions and they're just firing them at you. And you don't have the answers for them because the visionary just put it on the table 10 minutes ago. Are you that person? That is a critical role, a critical talent. You know why? Because you are not moving in an organization if you don't pay attention to the details proactively. Because if you move into implementation stage without considering the details, then you're going to stop and you will no longer be implementing. And so is that your skill set? Is that your lane of brilliance? And then you have what is commonly known as the change maker, which is this is the spokesperson for change within an organization. This is the person that's talking to the media, talking to employees and saying, look, this is why we need to make the change, because of the market, because of competition, because we want to be a front runner. They are the person that's generally associated with the change because they're the person that's getting buy-in in all kinds of ways, externally and internally. And so are you the front-facing change maker? And look, get this, a lot of times the change maker is the person, if you're in an entrepreneur world, people think the change maker is the person who owns the company, even when they don't own the company. You know why? Because their face is associated with whatever it is that you're talking about. And so they're known as the spokesperson, their buy-in. So when you're thinking about your talents within the workspace, where do you fall? Identify in those three examples, and there are plenty more leadership styles of entrepreneurship. Where do you fall? And then when you identify where you fall, leverage it. Because get this, every organization needs all three.
Yes.
They cannot move forward without a vision. They cannot move forward without having the proper infrastructure, people, processes, standard operating procedures, and programs and systems, hardware and software. They cannot move forward if people don't buy into why you're moving forward. So all three are critical. And at any given time, you can have one person who exhibit all three of those roles. It's called situational leadership. Situational leadership is the most effective form of leadership because you adjust your leadership style based on the issue that's in front of you. So in terms of in the workplace, how you can leverage your skills within the workplace, first you got to identify where you are and what your skills are. And then I tell you, leverage them and articulate your value as to why it is important for the organization to pay attention to either vision, pay attention to either details, or pay attention to buy-in, because any one of those three can sidebar your strategic initiatives. And at the end of the day, our goals are to make money, save money, or achieve organizational goals.
That's a mic drop. I'm loving, so much good information. I love how those three, because I was just thinking when you were walking through the visionary and then the creator and then the change maker, I hit all three sometime. Like you said, sometimes depending on the situation, right? Depending on the need too, because sometimes if you don't have a visionary in the room, sometimes, okay, I got to put my visionary hat on because nobody's here. Everybody's doing change maker. Yeah. We need some vision. Yeah. Or the thing that really gets me is there's all these visionaries in the room, and it's like, okay, you're saying all what you want to do, but we're not moving the needle. We're not getting to the next level. We're not implementing nothing. So then I got to put my creation hat on and say, okay, so when we gonna do this? Yeah. Well, yeah, we need to do it. You know, the visionaries, they be having many ideas just coming out.
Yeah. And you haven't even finished the last 3 visions they put on the table. So, yep, absolutely. But again, that's where you put it in the parking lot. You put, but you want them to just kind of vomit everything up, because their ideas are their ideas and they're based on something. The visionaries usually keep up with the market and the trends and the competitors. And you need to keep up with all of those things in order to have sustainability in the marketplace. And so, but you want to be in succession, complete one thing at a time before you jump ship and start working. Otherwise, you'll have a bunch of incomplete strategic initiatives, and that's not good as a business at all.
And I've been there in my company. I work during the day. There's a lot of incomplete projects going on right now. And it's funny because now my manager comes to me and says, Barbara, did we get any of these complete? I said, no, because nobody didn't create anything and implement nothing. So they're all just sitting here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So you need all three. You definitely need all three, even if you're, like you said, working in the corporate area, the C-suite, or you just doing your own business. You always want to have that. And when you find a team, that's wonderful. You get people in the different areas. But if it's just you for right now, at the beginning, you got to put on 3 hats.
Yeah, absolutely. Just have a checklist. Make sure you got everything covered, and most entrepreneurs start off as solopreneurs. So it is just them in the beginning. And so if they don't think about all 3 of those areas, they will think about it when they try to implement, because things will stop in implementation if you haven't considered those 3 major areas, which is why I cover those 3 major areas in entrepreneurship, because those are the 3. They're not the 3 only areas, but they're the 3 major areas.
And these are 3, totally 3 major. Well, Queen, I'm glad that, I know with the time, and I wanted you to finish. I wanted to get that last 3 points because they're so powerful. So thank you for sharing that. But I'm going to give you the stage for a minute, for a few seconds. And I want you any lasting thoughts that you have for the audience, and I'll come back up and I'll make sure they get your contact as you're speaking.
So absolutely. Right. Thank you for having me. So I just want to leave you with this. I am known as the C-suite strategist, but I know not everyone wants to be in the C-suite. So if you just want to be great, because my ideal clients are female leaders. I'm all about women having sustainability and acquiring those roles that they are qualified for. Notice I said they are qualified for. And so in order to be qualified for, you have to do an assessment of your skill set. So I encourage you to assess what your next level it is, whether it's a position or if it's an entrepreneur, maybe it's a product or service, and what it is that you need to acquire it, whatever it is. And then look at what you've done up to this point. Figure out what gap is in the middle. What do you need to do to acquire that next level skill set that is needed for that product or service or that position that you're looking for in corporate America, and just get it, because it is still the boys club at the top. I happen to be one of the women that they allow to be in senior leadership, but it can get lonely up here. There is room in the end for you if you are a qualified female leader. So let's get it. Let's go.
I want to be up there with you, Queen. Teach me, teach me. I love it. I love it. Yes, this is where collaboration comes in at. This is it.
Yes,
Like you said, this is
absolutely.
over the top, but
Absolutely.
yeah. I don't want to be too lonely. I can go up there and be with you. Well, that said, Queen, thank you so much again for coming on, Dr. Karen. I appreciate you so much. And now that you came on for the first time, I always say this, your family. So anytime you want to come back, if you have a summit coming up, anything, if you have other people, speakers that want to come on, we are here. Visibility Corner is here for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I love partnerships among women, other sister leaders. You are truly a sister leader, Barbara.
I've been deemed. Yes. I love it. As of what? September 4th, 2023. Dr. Karen gave me deemed me. Thank you so much, lady. I
Yeah,
appreciate you. And if
thank
anybody
you.
else, please reach out to this lady. You see, that's why I like bringing them on the show because this is building a relationship. When you think about it, when you're listening, what they give, like I said, Lighthouse to the World, Dr. Karen, she gave some good golden nuggets. Please listen to it. And if you need to have that visibility under her empire, reach out. Her website's right down there. Now, Dr. Karen, any other contact that you want to give to the audience before we sign off?
No, you can even email me from my website. So that is a good resource to have. You can find everything that I do. You can kind of filter from my website. It's one-stop shopping there.
And that's the easiest way because we don't want to be going all over the place. We don't have to. Just keep
Yeah,
it right there.
yeah,
Keep them in there one spot.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you, Queen, again. And everybody, we'll be back with another Visibility Corner show with another wonderful expert like the queens and kings that come on this show. And I always tell people, remember, your gift is too important to have hidden. Make sure you give the visibility and be that lighthouse to the world. See you all next time. Bye.